I didn't realize it was supposed to storm today. I didn't know it was going to rain yesterday.
Oh. I thought I told you it was going to storm. No, I told you there was rain today. I didn't tell you it was going to storm.
I want to tell everybody about an experience that I had at Target.
Oh.
It's like 2 days ago.
Okay.
You said you got excited, like maybe you had your own that you wanted to share.
Well, I had a thing about Target that I think is very interesting that I could share.
Which is?
Do you really want me to go first? Because it's going to steal all the limelight. What I have is huge.
Maybe later.
Okay.
But interestingly enough, I watched the video today. You may have heard it in the background. And it got me thinking about YouTube. It got me thinking about the viewers and the algorithm. But you just said you said that you now enjoy watching people cooking steaks.
Oh, yeah. Since we cooked steaks that time, now I'm all like, how can I do this better? Because it was really good when we did it. But I'm like, we could totally do this better. Well, that's because yesterday I messed up the pork chops.
Where'd you get the pork chops from?
Whole Foods.
Whole Foods.
Same place I got the steaks from.
Any shortages in Whole Foods?
Not a single one.
Because I want to talk about Target later on in this video. Walmart too. But more so Target.
Okay.
But the pork chops were good.
So I followed the directions because I've also never cooked pork chops on a skillet on a stove before, on an electric stove at that. And it says to cook to an internal temperature of 145 degrees because you don't want not fully cooked pork. I guess, you know, all the bad things could happen to your digestive system. So I did to 145, forgetting that when you take them out, they still continue to like inner cook a little from all the heat. So I should have stopped them close to 135 or 140. That way they would have been a little softer.
It was still good. Whatever seasoning or whatever you chose, it was. I enjoyed it.
Good, because there's two more, so you know what you're having for dinner tonight.
I do think the value is there when we look at the price that we would get at a restaurant in comparison to buying it yourself, even at Whole Foods. Mm-hmm. The cost, the price, the amount, serving size, everything, and I think it's pretty cool that we have the grills to use whenever we want. It's just a perk to living in this apartment. Mm-hmm. I don't know if the other apartments around here have that.
I don't know. And you can't have any sort of grill on your balcony because I had people say on Squirrel Trap 2.0. That's why you put those little things up too. You don't want them having grills at the apartment because that could be the potential for the fire. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, all our appliances are electric for good reason. Mm-hmm. Meanwhile, the fire alarm goes off pretty regularly here.
Yeah.
5 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah. I wonder if he was grilling some breakfast.
Comment down below if you saw the video where the fire alarm went off, and comment down below if you were triggered by that video. I know a lot of people clicked on it thinking that they were going to get something else than what they actually received, and
but that's the problem. They thought it was one thing because that's how they wanted it to be versus what it was, which you named it exactly what it was.
I think the problem is that they wanted the problem, not that they were tricked. I think the problem is people are seeking out problems to find, to watch, to be entertained or gossip about or flap their gums about.
Flap your gums.
I watched the Patriot Twins today.
Previous
Haven't seen them in forever. They still have the Hodge Twins channel. They also have the Conservative Twins. And now they have the Patriot Twins.
I knew that. I've seen all of them. I just didn't. I guess there's a different topic for each channel.
The only reason why I even pulled it up is because, one, it showed up on my homepage. I haven't seen them in forever, right?
And then
they just pop up on my homepage, right?
And the topic that they were talking about, I actually just put a poll up on my main channel because of what I heard your video doing.
But
that video doing.
Zach sent me a message. He sent me a text this weekend.
The No BS real estate agent, Zach?
Yeah.
That's what his channel name is.
Yeah, he changed the No BS. And he goes, hey, the Hodge Twins are here. We were in Georgia. He sends me a text. He goes, the Hodge Twins are here, I guess, in Santa Rosa. And I missed it. But he said it. I haven't seen them in years, and then they pop up on my YouTube homepage as the Patriot Twins.
Google listens to everything, and you had your phone connected to the car at the time, so it was like, Intel. Every time something happens, I think of Transformers and the spark, the little thingy the thing that was in the plane. It sticks its little metal finger in the computer and just pulls all the data. I'm like, that's our cell phones.
Sometimes it does it with search on things that I've been thinking and I haven't said, and it automatically suggests it in search.
Yeah, that's always weird to me.
So what was your poll about?
So I mentioned that the YouTube algorithm seems to really be pushing topics related to LGBTQ plus or what was the other thing? That and because there's a lot of there's a few things, but none of it is what I deem important right now. It's more divisive things. And so I asked, is this what you guys want? Because the views are down for a lot of creators that aren't doing those kind of videos. So is that what you want, or do you want the stuff that's affecting our food? Do you want the things that are affecting our resources? Do you want the train things? Like, I'm trying to figure out, do you want Biden and the administration? Because for my audience, the things that the algorithm seems to be pushing right now just don't make sense. And I don't want to fall into the algorithm trap and make things that I don't want to make, that my audience doesn't want to see, just to get pushed to people that I don't really want as my audience.
Number one, don't make anything you don't want to make.
Yeah.
Okay.
People are on me for yesterday's video, but I wanted to make it, so I don't give a shit.
Yeah, don't make anything you don't want to make. But apparently, speaking of shortages, there appears to be no shortage of crappy content. Maybe a shortage of good content. It's like my homepage is actually being loaded up with creators' videos with tens, maybe hundreds of views. Why would YouTube recommend a channel with very few views on my homepage? I mean, I appreciate them giving smaller creators an opportunity, but
I mean, if that content is something that you have spoken about, something you have looked up, that makes sense.
I'm going to make a point to watch every video I see on the homepage with low views. Maybe YouTube is trying to tell me something.
They're trying to help the smaller channels?
No, maybe they're saying, look, this is actually what you're interested in.
Yeah.
It just doesn't have a lot of views yet.
Well, that's what I'm saying. So maybe the algorithm is trying to help people see things they wouldn't normally see because the algorithm is only pushing the popular channels before.
But we've been trained to only see things a certain way. So when we see a channel with low subscribers, when we see a video with low views,
you think, oh, this is trash. I don't want to do this. I want the one that has a lot of subs, a lot of views, or whatever. That doesn't make it a video for you. It just makes it a video that they got a lot of people to watch.
The crazy part about it is that every video starts the same. Every video. Every single video starts the same.
Hi, welcome to my channel. That kind of thing.
Every video uploaded to YouTube always has 0 views.
Oh, that's true.
It's just at some point, some get more than others. But every video uploaded to YouTube always has 0 views.
That's true. That's very true.
At some point, the video that has 10 million views
had 0 views.
Had 0. Had 1, had 2, had 100.
At some point, the channel that has 5 million subs had 0 subs. Had 10, had 15.
Very interesting.
Very interesting. So what I'm hearing is that the algorithm is wanting to push smaller channels instead of always rewarding these larger channels.
I mean, my smaller channels are doing pretty good.
My smaller channel is doing pretty good as well.
But
in relation to subs, to views, and whatever else, if you will.
Getting back to the question of what people want, you would think, do they want to know more about what's going on in Washington? Do they want to know more about what's happening to our food? Do they want to know more about possible train derailments and
train issues in general?
Yes.
Planes, trains, and automobiles is kind of what I called it.
Do they want to know more about, I would assume, what people ask me about, which is the safety of their money in the banks, buying and investing in gold, starting businesses and producing passive income? Yet
I didn't put that as a thing for me because that's your.
No, I don't either, because when I make those videos, nobody watches them. Nobody watch. I mean, I'm not saying nobody, but in comparison, I have videos with hundreds of thousands of views, and then the videos that will discuss ways of improving yourself financially, maybe that's it. Maybe improvement. Maybe any video that's about improvement gets rejected.
Instead of saying, this is what's happening. Instead of saying how to improve your life, you have to label it how to F it up less. You have to put that negative word in there somewhere.
Here's a little teaser. Here's a little foreshadowing. If you want to make a video about relationships,
throw the word divorce in there.
Then you have to make a video that has a perception that your relationship has a problem.
Because if you just say, hey, we're great, we're doing amazing, we've been together 15 years and it's freaking hunky-dory over here, people will be like, you're rubbing it in our face, we don't give two shits, we don't want to watch it. But if you go, hey, listen, divorce has been on the table. Ooh, I wonder why. Juice, let's sit down and...
What's wrong? I knew
it. You saw how she looked at him that one time 7 videos ago for 0.2 seconds when he wasn't paying attention.
YouTube demonetized. Oh, I told you they were like... reason why we bring this up is because we already have a video that we made yesterday. It was pretty cool, and it's already set up. I just don't know when I'm going to let it go, but I already know that people are going to receive it wrong. It
doesn't matter what you title it. You can title it completely positive, and people are going to be like, meh. You can title it completely negative, and people are going to be like, oh yeah, and then get inside and go, oh, it's not. What? You just never know.
Well,
there is negative in it.
You got like some that are like, oh, this is clickbait, and then you have the other ones that say, we love you guys. And honestly,
I'd rather talk to the we love you guys than
it's for the we love you guys.
Understand the clickbait. The people who feel the need to say clickbait are the same ones who feel the need to complain to the McDonald's manager because one French fry out of the whole batch is cold.
It's funny because somebody said that, and I'm gonna get to the shortages in just a moment. But again, we don't have a shortage of these experiences. We don't have a shortage of these comments and these opinions and these misinterpretations. We don't have a shortage of that. But somebody commented and said that, I don't have, whoever it was said that they didn't have patience. And there's people out here that don't have patience. And I shouldn't lump everybody into a category of not having patience. Well, if you don't have patience, then guess what? You've lumped yourself into that category
of people who don't have patience.
But it's funny because the comment came from me stating that if you don't have the patience to hear out what someone has to say, then you don't necessarily really deserve the value or the wisdom that they're going to provide to you.
I agree.
And oftentimes this is linked and tied to financial and relationship-based success or failures. Whereas if someone is doing it or having done it or helping you to do it, and you don't have the patience to hear what they have to say, then odds are you're probably not going to have much success outside of just getting lucky. But just on a much easier and simpler metaphorical or as like an analogy, for instance, you take too long to get to the point.
Oh, can I please do the comment for that one?
Sure.
Somebody said he takes too long to get to the point.
Oh, I didn't have one in particular.
Oh,
so I
was
just making it up.
Somebody says you take too long to get to the point. To which my reply was, well, the point for you is different than the point for that person. So it might take too long to get to what you deem is the point in what he's saying. But what if somebody else got that point 4 minutes before that, or 2 minutes before that, or even 7 minutes after that? Like, you just never know, because the video is never just one little thing. There's always a lot of things in there. And so the point that you get from it may be completely different than the point that somebody else gets from it at a completely different time in the video.
Think about it like this. If The Matrix started off with Trinity in an abandoned building, sitting at a computer, and then immediately switched scenes to Neo staying at a payphone, talking to the agents, talking to the system, would you understand the fucking movie? Would you understand
how it got there? You'd be like, how did this happen? Well, you need all the stuff in the middle to explain how point A ended up at point B. But people have no patience for that middle. But if you only gave them point A and point B, they would then tell you that you're an idiot for not telling them the middle.
Let me tell you what it is. I'm going to tell you exactly what it is. I enjoy psychology. I enjoy analyzing data. And I'll tell you that their patience lies in themselves, and they're impatient in getting to the point of which they assumed what the video was about based on the title and thumbnail.
Yeah.
And even if they watched it all the way through, they're too dense, they're too dumb, they're too stupid, they're too ignorant, they're too blinded, they're still asleep for the most part, to understand what the video is about. So they'll then say, you take too long, this is clickbait, or I don't have the patience for this. When the answer was provided to you.
I wonder if anybody's
throughout
ever...
the video, or maybe even in the beginning, but it wasn't the answer that you wanted.
Here's my question. The movie Forrest Gump is like 2 hours long, and it's just titled Forrest Gump. How would you pick that movie to watch? And then what's the point of that movie unless you watch 2 hours of the movie? Do you get the point in the first 30 seconds of the movie of, oh, this is the point of Forrest Gump? No. Do you get it 15 minutes in? Probably not. Maybe an hour in? It depends on what you get from it. 2 hours? If you can see how long the videos are, you can read the titles, and if you can't figure out how to sit there patiently and watch the videos, don't click on the videos. Like, I don't understand that. I wouldn't pick up a book that I did not find interest in the title and the cover. I'm not going to read the back of it. I go by whatever else. And if it doesn't look interesting, I put it down.
I think the crazy part about it is if we use the analogy that I hadn't gotten to yet because I take too long to get to the point.
And because I interrupt you a lot.
I want to equate this to what you have gained a new interest in, which is cooking. Not just cooking, but watching cooking and learning different things, the recipes with the juice,
specifically.
juicing, meats, all this stuff. Like anything and everything that we do comes down to knowledge, education, research, and then, execution and experience, trial and error, testing, do again, do better. But just think about it like this. Do you go to a pizza shop and complain that you don't have the patience to wait for the pizza? Therefore, they just hand you some raw dough and some pizza sauce and some cheese that hasn't been melted. Do you go to the barbecue place and tell them you don't have the patience for fall off the bone barbecue ribs, particularly, and you want undercooked pork because you just ain't got the patience for it? Like, that makes zero sense. Like,
you have patience when it's something that you actually care about. If you don't care about what's happening in the video, go away.
And therein lies the problem. What people care about, what the world cares about in certain circumstances. I'm not lumping everyone into this category. This is a generalization here. And it's almost as what they care about and what they're being force-fed to care about only because they are showing interest in it. Whereas I've had experiences where people can provide me with loads of information, historic data, case studies, events, all based on transgender, trans rights, or whatever it may be, whatever inclusivity it is in transgenderism, transgenderdom. And the same people can't tell me how to buy stock. They can't tell me how to get a mortgage. They can't tell me how to invest in real estate. They can't tell me how to build a business. Yet they can tell me everything, anything and everything all about transgender. Is there a shortage of knowledge? Is there a shortage of people who have the ability to wrap their minds around things that really matter more so than that trash?
Depends on the person, I guess.
But then the other thing is that even they too are somewhat blinded from time to time, because whenever you engage in that conversation, they'll get defensive. They'll get defensive. Mainly because you're trying to apply logic to an illogical situation. And then they will say, well, you just have something against the LGBTQ plus community. And the simple answer is no, we don't. Never said anything about the L, the G, the B,
the Q. I still don't know what the plus is.
They made that up. They made this up. So we have a society of people running around making things up, misreading, misinterpreting things, impatient, lacking intellect, the ability to really think rationally and make sound decisions.
Or have conversations.
Meanwhile, both sides of the aisle are playing games with everybody. I find that mind-blowing, really. But thank you for everyone who has joined us on Patreon, because I think that you guys get it. When we say we're having real talks and real conversations about real shit with real people, I think they get it.
I agree.
Now, I want to tell my story about Target.
Okay.
And it can tie into Walmart and the possibility of shortages moving forward in the future. Not sure if you guys have witnessed this like I have.
Want some lemon?
But I don't want to tell my story if it's going to
Do you want some lemon water?
interrupt.
Well, mine actually goes with what you just talked about. Are you ready for this?
Oh, go with yours then.
Okay.
Because I don't think it's going to tie into mine.
No. So, I guess a certain month is Pride Month. I don't know which month it is, but it's Pride Month where stores will come out with extra rainbow things, extra things that say Pride, things that, we're an ally. They'll come out with the LGBTQ plus things and whatever else. And there's a lot of people on social media right now kind of flipping out because Target came out with like onesies and bibs and stuff that are in the rainbow. And tights and skirts and stuff for kids that are in the rainbow. And I want to point out that when I was little, one of my favorite cartoons was Rainbow Bright. Her legs were made out of rainbow stockings, and she flew on a rainbow. Reading rainbow was a thing when I was little. For people to immediately assume that rainbow stockings have to be pushing this LGBTQ plus thing, I think is ignorant. It gives somebody a reason to be mad at somebody for something. It does not mean that Target is trying to make the 6-year-old girl a lesbian because she's wearing a rainbow stockings. Now, if there is a T-shirt or a onesie or whatever that has, I love my mommies, I love my daddies, whatever this on there, it's also not trying to turn that child into a lesbian or gay or homosexual in any way. It's just showing family unity, family love. I have stuff that says, I heart my mom. My kid has stuff that says, I heart my dad. She has stuff, I heart my mom and dad. And there are people out there who do believe that inclusiveness is a thing. So I heart my moms, I heart my dads. I fully get that. However, Target did come out with, I have not seen this inside my Target. I have only seen this via social media.
Well, let me stop you right there because what you see on social media, what you see shared on Twitter,
can be tweaked,
it's
can be whatever.
It's going to be manipulated and angled. I can go into a store right now and make it look like there's shortages on the shelves. I can make it look like there's empty shelves. Like people have done that.
So what is being shared on social media about Target? The first part I talked about is 100% accurate. I've seen those things myself, and there's nothing wrong with those. They are not geared at telling your child that they need to be or should be whatever. But the thing that's going around social media right now is that Target tried to come out with female bathing suits for children aimed at boys that had a cover to help hide their junk so they could look more like a girl in their bathing suit. That's the issue right now.
That definitely trumps my story.
Yeah, I figured it might.
Yeah.
Yeah. But please continue with yours.
Yeah, that blows my story away. Like, yeah, my story's.
Well, I still want to hear it.
Wow. Yeah.
Shortage of bathing suits for actual girls?
No.
Maybe that was it. I don't know.
No, I was just going to tell you about the experience at Target and just the changes that are happening in the world, changes that are happening in business, changes that are happening in society. But yeah, that's kind of jacked up. Mm-hmm. And then you got the Florida teacher. I think it's a Florida teacher who showed the movie for 2 minutes or something.
Yeah, they showed a movie, but it turns out one of the children in her class is the daughter of somebody who's on the board of something, and so they are threatening her job now.
But then they had these interrogations of the children without parental consent, asking them all these questions, taking away from their time in class of learning.
But what's funny is that in order to show a movie in class at certain ages, you have to send out, even when my kid was in 6th grade, they had to send out a thing that say, hey, we're going to watch this movie, yes or no. So parents knew ahead of time what was happening. But the lady on the school board, I guess, didn't pay attention to what it was or didn't realize that there was a gay character in this Disney movie. And then once her kid came home and said, oh, yeah, blah, 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 and this character and this character and this character, then she was up in arms. She had no issue when it was the title of the movie and this is what we're doing. It was once she found out what was in the movie that she had an issue. So that's on her for not looking into it herself before she allowed her child to do it.
She judged the book by the cover. She made informed opinion based on a title and thumbnail. She wasn't even sure of what was inside.
Mm-hmm. That's exactly what that is.
Yeah, I was just going to say, when I took you guys to Target the other day and dropped you off, y'all went inside, did your thing. I'm sitting there, and the pickup station is like popping. The girl comes out. She's got 3 or 4 orders, and that's like the new norm. You know, you still prefer to go inside, but you know, sometimes like normally like Best Buy, we're just going to go ahead and do the pickup because it's just something one
it's
thing.
Really hard to find anything in Best Buy.
Oh yeah, you can't find
Gosh,
anything in
and
there.
you can't find an employee, and when you can, they're like, scan the QR and get in line to be helped. And it's like, but you're standing here talking to me.
I haven't tried Walmart yet, but either way, this is the direction we're going. Even the Target in Fort Walt, is it Fort Navarre? I don't know where it is. The Target down there has Mary Esther. They have a canopy and lights, so like even when it's raining or at night, like this is where it's at. But my big question was, as I was sitting there watching this happen, was this lady pulls up, and I remember it oddly because she drives up in a white Tesla Model X. I don't see a lot of X's. We see 3s and Ys. Mostly. And then I would say there's a 3, a Y, an S, and then the X is last. So there's an X. And maybe we'll see Cybertrucks in the future, but Elon's having a little bit of trouble getting that taken care of. Tesla, by the way, just cut the price on their Model 3s again. And Elon Musk is bracing and alerting and warning people to prepare for a decline. As car loan lenders, banks are pulling back, car prices are dropping, and we may see that crash that everybody's been asking about, looking forward to, waiting for anxiously, but it's kind of quietly happening in the corporate space and not so much in the consumer space.
What's funny is we've passed 3 different places in the last couple of days where they're adding in Tesla charging stations, not just your regular EV charging stations, but Tesla specific ones. All right, back to your lady. Sorry.
So, you said lady?
I assumed it was a lady in the Model X.
I didn't say lady. Did I say lady?
I thought you said she.
Okay, maybe I did. So, she pulls up. Maybe I did. I'll play it back. White Model X, and it had an Indiana tag on it. So, the reason why this stands out to me is because as she's sitting here on her phone.
Sorry, the kid
while we
who's
were
not supposed to text sent me a text from her watch, says she's got a 98 on her science test. So
sweet.
Good job.
So as we were driving back here from Georgia, I said, hey, can you look up on your phone? I wasn't poking at her for being on her phone. I was saying she's on her phone because I asked her to get on her phone and say, can you find a way to map a route from Georgia to Florida with charging stations? Because I'm thinking, all right, what is it? What would that look like? And how simple would it be to do these things? And how much of an inconvenience would it add if I wanted a Porsche Taycan? So if I'm going to get a Taycan, then I got to be able to make this journey, but obviously I can't make it on one charge. So what kind of inconvenience would that be? And I honestly completely forgot to even look and see if there were any electric charging stations along the way. And I did not even pay attention.
I didn't even look at Buc-ee's. But what's funny is we made it from Florida to Georgia on 1 tank of gas on the way there.
Well, we did fill up. We didn't have to. And I think that the new tune that I put on the Porsche Macan GTS with my Cobb access port
helped.
I think it improved
which is so weird.
I think it gave it more power and raised the shift points and better fuel economy. Like, how is that possible?
You would think it would need to lower the shift points to get better fuel economy.
How is that even possible?
It doesn't make sense. But don't knock it.
So either way, this is why it stands out, because I see this white Model X with an Indiana plate, and I'm thinking, I wonder how many times she had to stop to charge that joker to get here from Indiana.
She left on Tuesday to get here by Saturday.
Like, I almost wanted to go over there and be like, how much of an inconvenience was it to drive from Indiana here in a Model X? Because, you know, every time you stop, you're looking at like 30 minutes to an hour to charge that thing up.
Hey, just a FYI for all men out there. Don't walk up to a lady's driver's side window while she's sitting in her car. Okay? This is a bad idea.
Yeah, I didn't do that. Although, heads up for women, I wouldn't do it either, because this one here wanted to kick in somebody's
you don't even understand. I was so mad at this lady in front of us.
Did you talk about it yesterday in the live stream?
I'm going to talk about it today.
Tune in to Scroll Tribe 2.0. She's going to share that story.
Because
I advised against it.
He had to calm me down yesterday, but it turns out my kid knows the kid's mom, and I'm like, pass this message along for me.
It's like, I've gotten to the point now where I know, it's like, if somebody said to me, it's like, hey, we're going to go do something really dumb and quite possibly get in a lot of trouble for doing it. And I either have to say, I'm okay with that, or I don't think that's a good idea.
Yesterday I don't think it's a good idea.
If it was a decision of, all right, let's go say something to her, I'm prepared to park the car and not go home because we're probably going to go to jail. So I was like, you know what? This may not be the best time to do that.
I was okay doing it because I wasn't wearing a Squirrel Tribe shirt at the time.
So anyway, they would have called the police. All the police were actually already there. Maybe the police would have sided with us.
She would have been fine because I would have been like, look, I had physical.
On the 2.0.
2.0.
There's a white Tesla Model X that came from Indiana and it's parked there. This is why I remember it. So the lady, I thought she was playing on her phone. I thought she was quiet quitting and playing on her phone, but she was actually using the app that Target provides to her so that she can get the orders processed, right? It just looks like a phone, a little PDA. So she goes to the first car. The lady rolls down. It's a van, minivan. She rolls down all the windows, which I found it kind of odd. And yes, I am a strange person to pick up on all these little details that are happening while I'm sitting here waiting for you guys. But she rolls down all the windows, I think to be polite, but I'm not really sure why. And she rolls down all the windows and the lady hands her the bag. Done. The next car in front of her is in front of the white Model X. I can't see it. It was a pretty quick transaction. I don't know what happened.
It was probably to make the girl walking up to her feel safer, to know that there's nobody in the back seat that was just going to.
Yeah, I think like polite, you know? So here's the thing. When she got to the Model X, there was a brief conversation as the Model X was pulled in front of me, pulled in forward. And there's a brief conversation out the side of the window. And then the lady goes to the back of the Model X. The lady in the Model X opens the hatch and just sits there. Mm-hmm. And just sits there. Mm-hmm. So now I'm thinking, if I worked at Target and I was in charge of this outside pickup delivery ordering process and I had a few items to bring somebody in, all they did was open the hatch and they didn't even bother to try to get out or even stand there. Mm-hmm. What do I do?
Well, that's how 99.9% of people are. That's the whole point in it, is for people who it's harder for them to get out of the cars because they're physically disabled, or it's hard because they have the kids or the whatever.
I don't want to pass judgment, but this lady looked very able. Maybe she didn't have legs. I don't know, but she looked very able from what I could see. Yes. Maybe you're right. Maybe that's something that I didn't think about.
But a lot of people will use it for that reason. I remember this from months ago talking about the Target, the pickup there. And a lot of people would say, listen, I want to go into the stores, but if they don't have the scoot around things, I can't do it. If it's raining, it takes me so long to get my wheelchair out, or I walk so slow or whatever else that it's uncomfortable. It's easier for me to have them come put stuff in the car. And a lot of times the ones who don't get out of the car will tip the person who's dropping things off.
I like that. I did not think about that. But then you did remind me of the experience you had in Target where the woman was busy on her phone and accidentally fell, mm-hmm. causing Target to be alarmed and obviously trying to avoid a lawsuit. But I'll let you tell that on Squirrel Tribe 2.0.
I already did.
Which video was that?
Do you remember? One with the juicer. The one that says, I can't believe what happened at Target.
Oh, I can't believe what happened at Target. Yeah. So y'all go check that out. But either way, that video I watched this morning, it really got me thinking about, YouTube, talking to you guys, sharing this information, possibility of shortages in the future, and also just the basic idea that it's almost like they want us to fail. Do you guys think that that's true? Do you believe that? Do you feel like in your heart that they want us to fail and the system is rigged? The game is rigged? Comment down below. Let me know. Check us out on Patreon. Hit me up on Instagram. Squirrel Tribe 2.0. See you guys later.
Bye.